Boom.
We have professionals for that are great at kid stuff, but they're not.
They're not.
They're not. It's everyone offloading the kid stuff because they don't want to deal with the hard stuff and appointing people who are no better qualified and are way overworked and don't have time, the time to put into it. And it's just too much delegation.
We're back. We're talking about AI and an update on the app. I saw it in all of its glory for the first time really today, and I'm so beyond excited. It is going to be so functional. Obviously, I am not the expert when it comes to this coding.
I love it's going to be so functional.
It is so functional.
That's funny. No, it's ugly as homemade sin right now, but we're working on all of the functions. We're making sure the back end and everything is working. It's fantastic. I'm very happy with where it is. And then we make it pretty and go through the testing phase, which hopefully will start early next month. We'll have the testing going and be ready to launch.
Yeah. I mean, come hell or high water, we're going to get this to you by Christmas. It'll be the best Christmas present. But I do want to go ahead and make this announcement. I hope that's okay. So we have really sold this app so far as to be something that will be reviewed by attorneys, which is verified, litigants, and court watchers. But Hugh has added a community component of this that I think is going to be a fucking game changer.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that it becomes a tool for discussion. And I think, in the last one of the last couple episodes, we talked about, or maybe we didn't mention in the podcast. So one of our guests, some people came together as a result of an episode and reviews that were left online and sort of figured out that they had seen similar things in their cases, and it resulted in a really great outcome for multiple people. And it just got me thinking about having a cohesive community where, these discussions can be moved to. I think we'll promote that and help that happen in a lot more cases.
Yeah, and we want people, because family court's so isolating, and there are patterns, and there are certainly patterns that I see with different judges or different GALs or FOCs or custodial evaluators. And we want to give it to you all to rate the judges. We want to be wrong about some of the judges. We want accountability, transparency. We want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. But I think giving you a community, and I would just urge everyone, I know no one's going to listen to me, but the family court reform movement to just stop trying to come, at everyone within the movement instead of going big picture to change the system for the better.
And for instance, so, I mean, if we're able to tag names, people that are involved in the case, and then people can, if they have a case and they can run through our community features, run those names through and see other people's experience with them. I mean, that could be life and death in some of these cases to realize that this is why this is happening. Here's how they've dealt with it. I mean, it can make the difference in winning and losing a custody case.
Yeah. And for everyone listening too, like, we really get the same players all the time. Like, there are a couple judges that we very rarely, if ever, get complaints about. I mean, and one or two, that's not necessarily representative of the system. There are the same GALs, FOCs, the same custodial evaluators, and the same judges that we get over and over and over with the same fact pattern.
Oh, sure. No. And what we've realized since we began doing this and talking to people throughout the country is it's similar everywhere. That it's not, that so far we've not talked to anyone where there's just this huge pool of FOCs or GALs that work in the case. There's a handful. They're relied on all the time. They have too many cases, and you hear the exact same complaints and problems with the system that we saw here.
Yep. And custodial evaluators, and I'll go out, this is my opinion in particular, but custodial evaluators, and we'll go down this rabbit hole. I don't believe in them, and I think there is like some inherent evil or inherent badness that comes with those. Like, I can't, what we're seeing nationwide and the problems that we've seen with custodial evaluators, and like the evaluator out of Colorado that faked her credentials and got sentenced to 4 years in prison, or the case where somebody was, charged with something and then completely acquitted and there's a defamation lawsuit. You have a lot of these custodial evaluators that are just kind of doing some nefarious stuff, again, in my opinion.
Yeah. And through either the podcast or other reviews online or just other channels online, some of these people, once they found out that this specific evaluator got in trouble and had to refund money in a case, they realize, oh, that's the person in my case. That was the same thing that happened in mine. And now they've been able to go back in and get money back and change things in their cases because they've heard about it. So that's why we want to be the hub of the community so that we can help people do that. And people aren't just having to search far and wide across Reddit and across, online. We want those communications occurring in one place so that people can find that information that could be really critical in their cases.
And I literally cannot wait for you all to see it. Speaking of apps, there was an NBC thing that I sent Hugh last night talking about a woman that utilized AI to win her appeal. So we're going to dedicate this episode. This will be short and sweet. Listen to it on your way to work. All about how ChatGPT and AI are the future of the legal profession.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Now, in this particular case, I think she was evicted. So this was a very basic, here in Kentucky, it'd be a district court matter. Really one set of criteria, very simple. But she had been evicted and felt that there had been an error in reaching that decision. She didn't have money for an attorney, especially for something that simple, and started looking for answers through ChatGPT and got the answers and started asking it about, what to do about it. And it guided her through writing an appeal that she was successful at writing. And that doesn't surprise me because, the output is only as good as the input. But and I can see someone who comes in and doesn't know much about AI and doesn't know how to manipulate it and prompt it correctly and just treating it as very conversational and maybe giving it a little bit too much information, might have stumbled onto writing a really good prompt and it giving the results, because it certainly is capable of doing anything and everything on a case like that.
Yeah, I mean, AI makes me nervous. And there are circumstances where you can get to circuit court for evictions. And I'm going to be really honest. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that law.
Me either.
We are going to have Miss Oliver on, and she is the one that was incarcerated by Tracy Davis after there were allegations that she had recorded during a court proceeding. I mean, she also currently has litigation talking about the school to prison pipeline against President Donald J. Trump. I can't wait to have her on. And I think she probably utilizes AI. She's a pro se advocate litigant that's done a lot of stuff. But I do think as far as AI helping pro se people, it's going to be a game changer.
Well, I mean, it helps in so many other ways. So, I mean, I know that the controversy over, it could never do what attorneys do. If you mean like, here's the problem, write my brief. No, it's not going to. But if it is the legal research and cross-checking things and looking at transcripts and comparing those to the findings, there is nothing better than AI for doing that. And there are programs that attorneys have used for a long time that are very expensive, where you'll load 2 PDFs in and it'll give you a list of all of the differences and all of that. It may be like hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month to subscribe to that. These, a free version of ChatGPT will do a better job of that and will give you you can customize the details all you want. Now, are you going to go in and cite it? No, absolutely not. But you're going to potentially save yourself 6 hours of reading through hundreds of deposition transcripts and comparing them against court orders and things like that. And it will give you the starting point. And then once you have the starting point, it's so contrary to the hourly billing model that I definitely concerns about it hallucinating and it making stuff up.
That's a word, right? That's like a term of art.
Well, hallucination is just where AI will invent a fact. It won't find citations for it. So you ask it to...
LOL. I'm going to start using that in real life.
I just hallucinated. Sorry. It's like the AI equivalent of a brain fart, except for that it will write it convincingly as if there is authority for it. And apparently, according to this article, the news story, hundreds of citations that were just completely made up have already made it into court cases. I would wager a bet that it's thousands and thousands if you look at the actual state court level, because people are using this.
Oh, yeah.
And there are easy ways to get around that. I mean, you can simply ask AI to tell you the citation and pull copies of any citations that it uses. There are 20 different ways that you can make sure that doesn't happen. But there are definitely problems that you run into. But I think that most of the pushback against this is going to be from those who stand to lose money from efficiency. And I think there's a lot of technology that attorneys are going to push back on because they can't bill as much for each task. And
Well, and I
that's
want
a real shame.
tell attorneys right now, and we're going to do a little experiment in real time. But I guarantee you ChatGPT is never going to waive Adair versus Emberton. So I don't want to hear from y'all, oh, I can do better. I can do better. You know what I mean?
Or sign an agreed order that gives third-party judicial powers.
Oh my gosh,
the
that
case
is
that we
sad.
just reviewed. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not going to replace every single thing that attorneys can do, but there are certain things that it can already do much better than a lot of attorneys. And I know that'll make people angry saying it, but it really does.
You should see this answer. I mean, it is so good.
What's the experiment?
I said, should an attorney waive Adair versus Emberton in a Kentucky custody case? And it gave me a full breakdown. It's got due process in bold. Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone listening, this is Hugh's case. It talks about 403-300, proper use of friend of the court.
And you didn't feed it the case.
I fed it, should you waive Adair versus
But you didn't give it a copy of the case to read. And this is what a free is this the free account? Free
this is Google
ChatGPT?
Gemini. Yeah.
Oh, this is just free. Gemini.
Yeah.
The free built into a browser Gemini answer.
Yeah.
Researched, read the case, understood it, recognized the due process issues, and gave an intelligent answer.
I'm going to screenshot this. We should put this up with
I agree.
But in summary, Adair versus Emberton is a tool for an attorney to ensure due process and proper use of FOC evidence. Waiving it could mean relinquishing the right to make those procedural objections. They should have said that at the freaking CLE, the Louisville Bar Association, y'all did. Don't waive Adair versus Emberton, in my opinion, not legal advice.
Yeah, and, one of the things, computers are good at black and white type things. And I think a lot of the criticism of AI working in professional capacities is the nuance and I think those concerns are unfounded. But when there's a lot that we talk about here, like due process and constitutional issues that really are black and white. Mm-hmm. And this, your little experiment there really shows when looking at things on a bigger scale, black and white constitutional rights issues, where it really has its strengths.
Yeah.
Is outshining a lot of what we've seen actually in the courts.
And I'm screenshotting this, and I did not have a plan to do this. One thing that I will say, though, and I think there's a really, really strong argument that it's not just a procedural due process right, that it's substantive.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting. I probably pulled that language from the Court of Appeals decision.
It probably did. But I think as far as like preservation and things like that, like I would argue that it's substantive, and I can't ever say that word right. And there's so much, I mean, you're going to be like, I want to see, because he has you have like a real AI, don't you?
Oh, I have a lot of custom things that I've trained for various tasks that I use all day, every day.
I want you to, I've screenshot this, but I think you should ask the same prompt to yours and see what the difference is. And I think we should put this up for everybody, because it is interesting to think about, AI being utilized along with an attorney. And if you have a good attorney, a good attorney wants you to do your research, wants you to question them, wants you to have these conversations.
I mean, anything that you can do to help your attorney. Mm-hmm. If your attorney is upset that you're doing things that further the case, then, there's a conversation that you need to have with your attorney there. But no matter how deep they are and passionate they are about a case, they have a lot of other things going on, and attorneys are just always extremely busy. So, if you can just take away some of the need to educate you about these things, if you can go in and do research about, what's the difference between procedural and substantive due process, and go through and read some of that and not have to pay your hourly rate for an attorney to walk you through that stuff. I promise you, the attorney would love that if you came in with an understanding of it. I loved talking to clients who really were up to speed and understood things, and you didn't have to sit and think about how you explained everything. You could just say what you felt about the case and talk about the legal strategy, knowing that they probably understood more about it.
Yeah, because we love the law. And I think that's the unique thing that you get in family court that you don't get in all other areas, and it's not a good thing. But so much of the emotion is talked about. And I don't like talking about that, at all with people. I don't like with clients, having to do the management of the emotional aspects of it. Now, I mean, I do, and I don't want to say, But I like talking about the law, making
Yeah.
legal arguments. When I first started in family court, I was like, if I'm on your case for more than a year, you need to fire me and find somebody else to get it done. Now, obviously, things changed and the delays and everything that
Yeah.
were
Now it's almost
exacerbated.
a guarantee if your case is litigated, it's going to be,
100%.
yeah.
Oh, it's almost guaranteed to get a divorce. I mean, to get into mediation, if you have any sort of disagreement,
Yeah.
not just the whole case. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, quite frankly.
No, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
I always, when I first met with people, I talked about getting a counselor or someone they could talk with, and just,
Oh, same.
okay, it's not necessarily saying you're depressed or you're anxious or anything, but there are certain things that they can help with and just talk about that you're wanting to talk to me about, and happy to talk to you about it, but I'm a lot more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm extremely jaded because this is all that I do. And
No problems.
yeah, well, yes, that's going on in the back of my head. Although honestly, the more people talk to me about their cases, the more I think I oftentimes my wife and I get in an argument, I annoy her because it just doesn't seem like as big a deal because
Yeah.
of when I was practicing, I just saw 50 times worse, all day, every day. But
Yeah.
but I mean, that's not why you hired me. I always explain that's not why you hired me. You hired me for this legal side of things, not to get dug in on the emotional side. You want an objective person that can look at this and say why this is a strong argument,
Mm-hmm.
why we should actually focus on this versus that, and not get down, and mired in all of the emotional stuff. And there are people that are far better for it, so that you can be more focused when we sit down and talk about legal strategy. And I would urge you to get involved and pick your own. I don't
Yep.
care. Here's some people that I had a list of people that based on my client's personality, I thought would be a good match, but I didn't care who they went
Yeah.
to.
Well, just to be clear too, because this is where sometimes people that haven't been involved in the system and the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But I am all for therapy. I am all for learning about yourself, but be very careful with the court appointed.
Oh yeah.
That's a difference. So
Well,
like when you come to an attorney and they recommend that you go see a therapist, that's very different than them recommending we get a court order to
Yeah.
have a therapist appointed that's going to be a witness potentially in a case.
well, I left out an awful lot about what I told people because I don't want to give legal advice
Yeah,
to our audience, but there were a lot of pick someone, but here are the parameters because this person's records will likely be subpoenaed, and there are ways to deal with it where you're not causing yourself more of a problem. But that's more attorney client stuff that
But
yeah.
I'm nervous too. I mean, you also could ask AI, like, what are the pros and cons of having a court-appointed GAL, a court-appointed therapist, the children having court-appointed therapist, a
Yeah.
custodial evaluator? And I think you're going to see a lot of pushback with the AI answers, where it seems to be nowadays that I talked to 3 people. I want to 3, was it 2 or 3, that were saying in the second conversation they had with their attorney, they were recommending an FOC. That's bizarre to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to criticize without knowing the circumstances of each one, but I do think that that's a high number.
Mhm.
I mean, I've always said there were circumstances where
Same
I
attorney.
saw the fact pattern that I know how an FOC is going to handle it and that it's going to go my client's way. That I've had this same case in front of this same judge and I know what works in front of that judge and I would recommend that, but there was just limited circumstances, and that was just not because I thought it was a great process in general or
Yeah.
should be part of it, but that was going to be the best outcome for my client. So there were times I did it, but there are just people that are bought into it. Like, oh, there are kids involved.
Boom.
We have professionals for that are great at kid stuff, but they're not.
They're not.
They're not. It's everyone offloading the kid stuff because they don't want to deal with the hard stuff and appointing people who are no better qualified and are way overworked and don't have time, the time to put into it. And it's just too much delegation.
And also, it's good. It takes a village type thing. But like if you have AI, like a ChatGPT along with your attorney, let's say your attorney tells you something, you ask ChatGPT and you get a different answer and you talk to your attorney and your attorney's like, oh, this is why it's nuanced here. Like
Yeah.
that's something that,
Absolutely.
it could absolutely happen. But I just think it would be very bizarre for an attorney to get super, super, super defensive. Now, if it was second guessing absolutely everything that you were doing or that feeling like, hey, you know what I mean? I could see where
Yeah.
that would be a problem.
Well, the easier way to do it before you present it to the attorney, I mean, and anything that you do on AI, whether it's legal or anything else, one of the simplest tricks is to just ask it its sources and have it summarize the sources, tell you if you formed your opinion based on other sources.
Yeah.
What are those sources? And give me a summary of the political leanings or of the types of things that those sources report on. And you can get an idea of whether the information you're getting from that AI, LLM.
What's LLM?
Large language model. Sorry, that's ChatGPT, Claude. Those are large language model. They're sort of chatbots that you can access a large language model.
Does it mean something different legally? You can get an LLM.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. So if you're getting a strong answer or something and you ask its sources, you may find that all of the information that's out there is from a small handful of people who all feel the same way about something. And that's how search engines, people talk about AI being manipulated in that way, but search engines are the same way.
Like Wikipedia.
Yeah. Or Google. If you Google something, it's going to give you answers based on what's there. It's not going to, before it wouldn't make things up, but for the most part, AI is not making stuff up. It's just a different way hallucinating. It's just looking at the stuff that's out there the same way a search engine does it. It's just thinking about it and communicating it back to you a little bit differently. I mean, it's just a glorified version of a search engine when you are using it in the way that we're talking about. There are things that it can do that's, very different than a search engine. But when you're searching things, just know that what it's feeding you may be all that's out there.
Yeah.
But it may not be unbiased. It may not be looking at a broad source of things and just asking it where it got its information could be. And if you go into your attorney and say, well, ChatGPT tells me we should be doing it this way, but it got that opinion from only one or two places.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I'm really scared of AI in a lot of ways. That being said, I utilize it, and I do think it's going to be a tool in the toolbox that attorneys are going to have to use. You're going to see attorneys really push back, and you should be weary of that. I do think, it's going to change the profession. And I think billable hours for family court need to go.
Yeah, I agree with that. Having made my career on billable hours, but you're kind of forced to. We've heard stories. We've sat down and talked to people that have tried to buck the hourly billing stuff, and even
I work for a firm,
and bar associations go after them. It's ingrained in the system that this is how you have to do it, and it's one of the big reasons that people are going to fight against efficiency. But
I think it's too late. Like, I think they fought it too much. It's coming. People are going to use that.
Well, sure. But let's think about this. Even if you're not using it for legal research, or you're not exposing it to any client information, and there's a way that you can do it, because hospitals are using AI for everything, and they're protected by more stringent rules than attorneys. There are ways to do it. Now, you could screw it up really badly if you don't know those ways and you're not trained in it. But when you're talking about just inbox management, phone call management, client, getting things out, and like just having routines that cut down on, people are going to see a 0.3 from a paralegal to send an email.
Yeah.
It can be automated, save people a ton of money. And then you don't get into the AI screwing things up in the legal case. There's so many ways that it can be used that no one could even question the value of, that they're going to fight back against, because it costs the firms money.
Yeah, and they're going to fight back in a way that's going to ultimately hurt the legal profession. And I'm much more interested in how it can help the litigant and the pro se person.
Sure.
When you want to find an attorney that can do both. And we'll wrap up, and I will say I lost. I'm adamant on my position, but I did lose. I've lost the poll. I've lost one of my longtime followers and fans, April. I'm just kidding. Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you.
People
my new favorite person.
Zoom court. And I am saying it's the beginning of the end for me, but it won't be the first time I've been wrong. But yes, overwhelming. And we want, guys, get up in the comments. Just be respectful. But get in the comments. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you want us to fight about. So first and only time Hugh Barrow has won. Cheers on our little sparkling waters. All right, we'll be back, and we're going to talk about just some wild case that happened in Kentucky where I think attorneys, GALs, everybody made a mistake probably.
Yep. We probably aren't going to fight much on that.
LOL. All right, bye, y'all. Oh, judge-y.com.
Peace.
We need some justice. My life is fine, justice.